I believe that if changes are needed, education is the area that should be taken into consideration in the first place. There is such a cool expression. When you teach a woman, you teach an entire generation. I absolutely agree with this. By investing in the education of girls and women, we actually help in shaping the correct thinking of the future generation, maybe even a generation ahead.
I worked as an engineer at the statistics department and always tried to involve children in all these innovations, because we should invest in education and interests of children.
Since childhood, I was amazed by his enthusiasm, his passion for technology. We worked on some schemes together. I often went to his workplace, where I first saw what a computer was. At that time, it was the size of an ATM. It was already a big data, but no one called it that. The power of the electronics, it just captured me.
We had Bulgarian racks there. We used to have Bulgarian disk drives. She was very interested in this. This was probably the impetus for her desire for education and knowledge. So I liked technical stores with technical books. I always went into these stores and bought literature to enlarge the outlook of children.
I graduated from school with a mathematical focus, with honors, with a medal. These exact sciences were easy for me to learn. I didn't even think about reasons why I made such choice. Probably I inherited that from my father. There were certain moments when I had to solve difficult math problems, but he explained it so simply that it was very easy for me to study further. In many ways, my professional path to becoming in the STEM industries, in IT, was determined by the influence of my family.
A parent should be a role model. Ill-mannered parents, they will not give a normal upbringing, a normal education.
Education in the field of technology can provide some kind of start in life for children, young people like in our villages and regions, but also in our large Central Asian region in general, because the topic and problems are relevant not only for Kazakhstan.
Elmira has a visionary talent. She really thinks outside the box, anticipates some trends. For example, the iTech Forum that we developed in 2019, even before the pandemic, it was a completely new direction in Kazakhstan. We began to develop it in 2019. And then the pandemic happened, and then the most hyped topic, online education, has been popularizing. We can say that Elmira in IT areas.
Many scientists say that intuition consists of 90% experience, and I agree on that. I had experience in private business, and one of my business partners was the first to say, "We probably need to reconsider our approaches to business because you are too ahead of time. You predict the future trends about 5, 6 years earlier." Then I took it very painfully. It was unpleasant for me to hear, and for some reason, I perceived this as my weakness. But then, after going through many assessments and psychological tests, I began to understand that this is not a weakness, it is a superpower.
The ability to look ahead is truly a superpower not available to everyone. Today, she is developing a lot of community direction. That is, they launched a school of trackers or work with the Skylab program. This is work with the markets of America and Indonesia. That is, we understand that it will have a massive result in 2 or 3 years. That is, when our entrepreneurs, with the support that we are now providing them, can enter large markets and become those billion-dollar successful stories.
Историями там, на миллиарды долларов.
Как я пришла к STEM? Помогла пандемия.
How did I come to STEM? IT happened due to pandemic. At that time before the pandemic, in the beginning of 2020, my team and I, back then in the AIFC, thought that it would be nice to develop the technological direction of professional development, which is very closely related to finance, because fintech is the junction of two big directions, technology and finance. But we understood that there would be staff shortage, so the decision was made to found a programming school.
Принято решение основать школу программирования.
Осознать еще до пандемии, что все перейдет в цифру, и создать.
To realize even before the pandemic that everything will be digital and create a unique platform for this, you need to have a very progressive vision. And this really impressed and inspired me.
В пандемию вообще поменять.
During a pandemic, it was hard to change the business model and adopt a new model because many people still have not learned to live in the digital world. And at that time, Elmira and her team were able to anticipate online education trends and transfer the training of technological personnel to this sphere.
Технологическую, да, то есть подготовка технологических кадров.
Нам удалось ухватить тренд за хвост. Это сейчас мы понимаем, что облачные решения, искусственный интеллект.
We managed to realize the trend on time. Now we understand that cloud solutions, artificial intelligence, but then it was not comprehensible. We did not expect that we would attract the first 500 people from 14 cities, 5 countries. Even people from far abroad began to join us. And it was a kind of a moment of discovery when I
поняла и заново открыла мир технологий. И, наверное, смотря на нас,
and probably looking at us, the ministry made a decision to expand this, so it was decided to launch this program for training 100,000 IT specialists. This is how the Takorda program has been created. And now, thanks to this, more than 150 schools exist on our market, operate successfully, train specialists of related and purely IT areas.
как смежных, так и сугубо IT направлений.
The world has changed now. The world is not the same as it was before. As we say, there is no stability and there never will be. Why? Because in our world of uncertainty, the survivor is the one who quickly adapts to this world, who changes quickly, and this is all connected with thinking. But accordingly, I think that, especially in large cities, a woman understands this well, and understands that the future of not only her, but also her family and children depends on her.
Я являюсь выпускником программы Госдепа США, которая называется Tech Woman.
I am a graduate of the U.S. State Department program called Tech Women. This movement unites 24 countries now, because the Balkan countries were joined last year. This movement is driven by the fact that it is important and necessary to create a supportive environment for women in STEM industries. That is, empowering a woman with leadership opportunities to advance her technology career.
Технологической карьере.
Программа показала ролевые модели, с которыми мы до сих пор держим связь.
The program introduced us role models with whom we still keep in touch. You look at them and understand that this is possible, and you develop. I got acquainted with Elmira when we found out that we were accepted for the Tech Woman program together. I liked Elmira's approach, her way of thinking, her experience, and when I found out that she is also a mother and has such a great career, I was shocked. She is an example for women as in America and here in Kazakhstan.
Таких же женщин, о которых я говорила.
Эльмира действительно настоящий лидер. Она умеет...
Elmira is truly a true leader. She knows how to motivate and inspire people. I admire her very much. She is an amazing leader, and all the initiatives she does even outside of work, participation in the Tech Woman program, are very inspiring.
Она делает даже помимо работы, участие в программе Tech Woman. У нас сформировалась еще и локальная комьюнити.
We have also formed a local community, maybe even several communities, which now exist in Kazakhstan, throughout Central Asia, which is consonantly called Techno Women. There are also other trends that other girls follow. They lead them, inspiring people, and this makes me happy. I know that many girls, young women, women face problems and do not find support either in society or even in the family. So it is important to create such communities, role models, a supportive environment so that they do not feel alone.
Приветствуем вас на втором форуме Techno Woman Central Asia.
Помимо стеклянного потолка, который существует,
In addition to the glass ceiling that exists for any woman on the path of her professional development, there is also a so-called concept, a glass wall. It is customary to define some areas as more feminine and some as more masculine. Even in very advanced venture ecosystems, investors still give preference to male founders, considering them a priori more capable, more talented, more reliable.
талантливыми, более надежными.
Я не видела слабых женщин. Честно скажу, просто мы хотим казаться...
I haven't seen weak women, to be honest. We just want to look like that. Only because our mentality dictates that since we are Eastern women, we give way to men and respect our men. And this is not weakness anymore. It is wisdom.
И это не слабость, наверное, больше, это мудрость.
Deloitte conducted a study concerning women who are on the board of directors. There is a direct correlation that the presence of women on the board of directors and at the management decision level directly affects the profitability of the company. In addition, there is evidence that profitability increases by more than 20%.
У нас, во-первых, большинство топ-менеджеров в холдинге — это женщины, а руководители дочерних...
Most of our holding managers are women, heads of the branches of the company.
...дает большую последовательность,
We believe that this gives more consistency, more structure. It gives methodical growth, more diligence, I would say.
больше методологии, больше прилежности, я бы сказал.
В вопросах гендерного равенства и гендерной справедливости Казахстан является лидером.
In matters of gender equality and gender justice, Kazakhstan is a leader in the region, and I am very happy with it. We have made significant progress in various ratings, which evaluate equal fair access in relation to gender in access to education, to professions, to those laws that in one way or another regulate gender equality in this area. But there is always room for improvement.
Гендерное равенство. Но всегда есть куда стремиться.
Таких специалистов очень мало.
There are very few such specialists, such consistent, structural, with a global vision. Because here we are also creating not just an island of support for entrepreneurs only for Kazakhstan, and we have global ambitions as well. Elmira strong global ambitions, an understanding of trends, a sense of the market, and I believe that with joint efforts, we can still achieve a lot of things.
Много чего получится.
Сейчас очень востребованы специалисты так называемые M-shaped.
Nowadays, so-called M-shaped specialists are in great demand who are specializing in 3, 4, in several areas, and who has a very broad outlook that allows to work at the intersection of industries, at the intersection of professions, and create some innovations.
И создавать какие-то инновации.
Чтобы управлять собой, необходимо включать голову.
To manage yourself, you need to use creative mind. And to manage people, you need to open your heart. And I want to say about Elmira that she is just such a person. In relation to herself, she always switches on her head, and her way of thinking is special. She is such a disciplined person and demands strict discipline from herself. Then she is open to people, open with all her heart.
Открыто всем сердцем.
Мне кажется, технологическое предпринимательство — это классная вещь.
It seems to me that technological entrepreneurship is a great opportunity for youth from rural areas. This is something that can be achieved with a minimum budget. The main thing is that there is a desire to learn, a desire to develop your own business, an understanding of what is happening in the technology market. This also has a very large social effect. That is, developing technical entrepreneurship, young people will be involved in the global gig economy, which amounts to billions of dollars around the world.
Я верю в те проекты, которые делает Эльмира. Это действительно масштабные проекты.
I believe in the projects that Elmira does. These are truly large-scale projects. The largest one which we worked together was the Forum of Educational Technologies. Then, in 2019, we worked on the very first forum on the topic of educational technologies in Kazakhstan. This was even before the pandemic, when online learning was not a common thing. We were just developing iTech in Kazakhstan. Also, the programming school is also a very ambitious, innovative project to train developers in their upskill.
Профессиональных разработчиков по их апскиллу.
Поддерживающая среда — это действительно то, что является...
The supportive environment is truly the flagship that will lead our countries into a technological future. It is very important both in the workplace, in the family, and in society. If all this happens, we will probably be able to make technologically successful cases from Kazakhstan, from the region, where new technological breakthroughs will appear, future unicorns, billion-dollar companies that will become known throughout the world. I would really like to believe in this.
Станут известны по всему миру. Очень хотелось бы в это верить. Безусловно, наверное, мой путь кажется таким очень легким, надеюсь, для кого-то интересным и примечательным.
Of course, my path seems so easy. I hope it's interesting and noteworthy for someone, but not everything was so rosy and safely from the very beginning. I got married quite early. I have an 18-year-old daughter, and when my child was 2 years old, I divorced my ex-husband. The entire financial, psychological, and even social burden fell on my shoulders. I had to study, work at the same time, raise a child, develop a career, prove to the whole world that I deserve the better. It was a difficult period. I think back on this day with much warmth, because thanks to this, I was formed as a person, as a professional.
В этой женщине собрано как бы все. Это характер, интеллект, это ее...
This woman has all this character, intelligence. This is her style, her core. And at the same time, I want to mention her beauty.
Сказать, что вообще этим таким вот комплексом, да...
And I want to say that not every person has such features, not everyone can cope with such difficulties. And this is how she amazes me, so refined, so flexible, seemingly weak, but with a strong personality.
Но с сильным стержнем.
Сила женщин Центральной Азии в том, что они способны объединять в себе...
The strength of Central Asian women is that they are capable of seemingly incomparable qualities, such as softness, flexibility, empathy with great determination, inner strength. With the motivation that they have, indeed, these are burning eyes, burning hearts, this ability to share, and the ability to build a community. I think that the future of the community is mutual support. This is what the whole world needs now.
Это то, что, мне кажется, нужно всему миру сейчас.